In our human frailty, we often misinterpret divine timing as divine delay. Yet Scripture reveals that God is never late. He intervenes at the appointed time, not a moment early, not a second too late. His timing is not random. It is redemptive, strategic, and always aligned with a higher purpose. Join me as we delve into real-life accounts that affirm God's timeless truth. First, we will start with a business miracle. A man applied for a loan from a bank manager to start a business. After careful review, the bank manager approved the loan. The man was excited to start his new venture, but unfortunately, shortly after opening the business, it began to lose money. Undeterred, he approached another bank and requested a larger loan to keep the business afloat. However, after reviewing his financial statements, the bank declined his request. Despite this setback, the man remained optimistic and continued to try different banks to secure the funding he needed to save his business. At the 8th time, however, something incredible happened. As he entered the bank, he saw a familiar face sitting in the lobby. It was the very investor who had initially approved his loan, and now he was looking for promising businesses to invest in. Intrigued, the investor called the bank manager aside and inquired about the man's business. The manager shared the man's story and expressed his belief in the entrepreneur's ability to succeed. Pressed by what he heard, the investor agreed to meet with the man and hear his pitch. At first, the man was hesitant to share his plans, given his previous track record of failed ventures. But with nothing to lose, he decided to take a leap of faith and poured his heart and soul into his presentation. His passion and determination were evident, and the investor was captivated by his vision. In the end, the investor decided to invest a substantial amount into the business, which saved it from bankruptcy and helped it grow into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Atita, the business, is a well-known brand sold in major retail stores worldwide. Reflecting back, the man realized that God had orchestrated every step of the way. From the initial loan to the string of rejections, and ultimately to the investor's unexpected arrival, it was all part of a divine plan to lead him to success. God had been working behind the scenes, preparing the way for his greatest triumph yet. Our next story is a woman's womb healed after 12 years of barrenness. Imagine 12 long years of longing for a child, 12 years of unanswered prayers and failed medical procedures. For a woman, this journey can be emotionally and spiritually draining, leaving her feeling disheartened and disillusioned. But what happens when hope seems lost and despair sets in? That's when the real test of faith begins. It's in those dark moments that we must choose to hold on to our beliefs and trust in a higher power. Despite the numbing pain of repeated disappointments, the desire to become a mother never fades. Each month brings a renewed sense of anticipation, followed by the agonizing realization that the dream has to wait just a little longer. Year after year, the longing only deepens, threatening to consume her whole. Medical science offers its solutions, procedures, and medication, but they come with their own set of challenges and risks. With each attempt that fails, the emotional toll becomes heavier, testing the limits of her endurance. But amidst this turmoil, a glimmer of hope emerges. She decides to stop the treatments and surrender her desire for a child to God's perfect timing. This is a pivotal moment, a turning point in her journey. It's here that the true essence of her faith is put to the ultimate test. Now it's time to relinquish control, release the burden of unmet expectations, and trust in divine providence. She lets go of the pain, the disappointment, and the unanswered questions. In doing so, she opens the door for something truly miraculous to unfold. Now, let's explore our third story, Esther. We see her as a beautiful young Jewish woman living in exile in the ancient Persian Empire. Her story is one of resilience, courage, and unwavering faith in God's perfect timing. Raised by her cousin Mordecai, Esther's life takes a dramatic turn when King Artaxerxes selects her to be his queen. Suddenly thrust into a world of luxury and power, Esther must navigate the complexities of palace intrigue while concealing her Jewish identity. However, when her people are threatened with annihilation by the evil Haman, Esther's true character shines through. Despite the danger, she bravely reveals her heritage and confronts the king, ultimately saving her people from destruction. Throughout her journey, Esther demonstrates remarkable patience, wisdom, and humility. She understands that her path to prominence was divinely ordained, and that her destiny was to use her position for the greater good. Even when faced with uncertainty and peril, she trusts in God's guidance and allows His timing to unfold. Esther's story serves as a powerful reminder that our lives are often shaped by circumstances beyond our control. Yet it is in these moments of trial and tribulation that our true potential can shine through. By remaining steadfast in our faith and embracing the opportunities that come our way, even when they seem daunting, we can become instruments of hope and deliverance for ourselves and others. Just as Esther courageously stood against the forces of evil, we too can find strength and resilience within ourselves when called to do so. Remember, God's timing is perfect, and His plans are always unfolding according to His divine will. Our fourth story is Peter's miraculous escape. In Acts chapter 12, Peter is arrested and sentenced to death by King Herod Agrippa. As the night of his execution approaches, he is thrown into a prison guarded by soldiers. But just before dawn, something extraordinary happens. An angel of the Lord appears and releases Peter from his chains. Startled by the sight of the angel, Peter wakes up and follows the divine being into the city. Along the way, the angel instructs Peter not to speak to anyone or reveal his miraculous release. Upon reaching the gate of the city, the angel departs, and Peter calls out to his friends for confirmation of the reality he is experiencing. When they confirm that it is indeed Peter, he joins them outside the city wall and eventually makes his way to the house of Mary, the mother of John Mark. There, he spends the night before reuniting with the church at the afternoon prayer meeting the following day. The news of Peter's resurrection spreads throughout the church, leading to great joy and celebration. The account of Peter's miraculous escape highlights several key aspects of God's timing and intervention. Firstly, it demonstrates that God acts when His people are in desperate need. Peter was unjustly accused and sentenced to death, but God intervened at the perfect moment to rescue him. Secondly, the story shows that God's timing is often unexpected and mysterious. The angel's appearance and Peter's miraculous release took place in the middle of the night, and the details of the plan remained hidden until the last moment. Finally, the account emphasizes the importance of obedience to divine instructions. Despite his astonishment and disbelief, Peter followed the angel's guidance, which led to his successful escape and eventual reunion with the church. Overall, Peter's story reminds us that God is in control of situations and that He will intervene in our lives when we least expect it. It also encourages us to trust His timing and follow His instructions, even when they may seem confusing or difficult to comprehend. Our next story is a real-life example. George Muller was a man who dedicated his life to serving the Lord. One day he felt called to open an orphanage in Bristol, England, to care for the city's destitute children. Initially, he had no money to start the project, but he trusted that God would provide. Muller's faith was tested as he visited various wealthy individuals seeking donations, but was turned away empty-handed. Despite the lack of funds, Muller opened the orphanage doors on January 1836, admitting 5 boys. Miraculously, the following day, he received a donation that covered the cost of housing and food for the children. Muller continued to seek God's guidance in running the orphanage, relying on divine providence for funding. In the coming years, his ministry grew, housing over 10,000 orphans. Muller's story is a testament to the power of trusting in God's perfect timing. Despite facing numerous obstacles and setbacks, he remained faithful and obedient to his calling. Muller's unwavering belief in divine providence led him to experience remarkable success in his ministry. His story teaches us to have faith in God's ability to provide for our needs, even when we feel like we don't have enough. It reminds us that timing is in God's hands, and that we should be willing to take risks and follow His guidance, knowing that He will be with us every step of the way. Our final story is your life, proof of timely mercy. Think of a time when you almost experienced a life-threatening situation, found help unexpectedly, or achieved a breakthrough when all hope seemed lost. These are not lucky breaks, but instances of divine clock ticking in your favor. Romans 5:6 says, "For when we were yet without strength, in due time, Christ died for the ungodly." God does everything in due time, okay? So when it feels like God is late, look again, okay? He's setting the stage for a miracle, okay? In conclusion, let us remember that God's timing is perfect. He intervenes when the time is right. Toasting, don't be discouraged by delays. Trust that God is working behind the scenes to orchestrate your miracles. Keep believing and stay watchful. Your season of breakthrough is on its way. Stay tuned for more insightful videos by subscribing to this channel. You can also connect with me through the provided links. Until next time, may you be blessed.